chose to fight. Trying to see where this life take me, so I roll the dice. Look up to no one else, but yeah, I was shy. I got real power, Hebrew Israelite.
A lot of ones that are poor, but you see white people doing the same thing. They the ones that's on top. High blood pressure is in our communities, but they not suffering from that, even though we eat the same things. You got that? Give me Deuteronomy 28:15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
All these what?
all these curses.
Let me ask you, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? A curse is a good thing? So if I put a curse on you when you just fell off of a building, is that a good thing? It's not, right? So a curse is a bad thing. So what the Lord is saying is, my little children, if y'all don't listen unto me, what you gonna do? Y'all got kids? If you had kids, what would you do to your kids if they didn't listen to the rules that you set in order? They gotta pay. They have to answer for not obeying your commandments. So what the Lord is saying is that because you didn't listen to what I told y'all to do, y'all have to suffer certain conditions. So he said that all of these curses shall do what?
Shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
He said that y'all gonna be living cursed in the city. Now on the island of St. Dominican, how are y'all living? It's fucked up, right? How we living in America, sis? You from Chicago? How we living in Chicago? It ain't too good. Right, read that verse again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
He said that y'all was gonna be living down bad in the city. Give me Job, I think I want Job 16:28. Let me see it when you get it, right? Read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Now what happened before we was living in Chicago like the way we are now? Who was getting their backs kicked in the slave field?
Right.
That was us. Right. That was our people. So it says, cursed shall you be in the city, but not only that, cursed shall you be in the field. Right? Read on.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So what he's saying is that anytime you have a Dominican business, how long does it last? It don't last too long, do it? Whether it's your car shops, it's your food shops, it don't last too long. What about our black-owned businesses? They don't last very long at all. So he says, cursed be thy basket and thy store. But you see a white person with a t-shirt shop, that shop would be in business for 20 plus years, man.
Right.
Right, read on.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Drop down to verse 54.
Verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate.
Right, because prior to integration, I don't know if y'all know too much about Dr. King's movement, with him and Rustin Baird and everything, and then want to do a whole peaceful movement. What that did was ruin the black and Hispanic community. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. You say, well, how? The reason that they ruined that, was your father in your life?
I still got my father.
You still got your father?
Yeah.
What about brother back there? Was your father in your life? He wasn't. Do you know why his father wasn't in his life? Because of integration. When you look at everything prior to the 1960s, our fathers was in a household.
Right.
You had no such thing as black on black crime.
Right.
We wasn't killing each other. Our women wasn't going and whoring themselves out, doing pornography, selling their bodies because they got to make ends meet because it wasn't a man in the house. Right. But once Martin Luther King made us join into white people, you know what they did? They flushed guns in our community.
Right.
They built prison systems. And who's 90% of the prison systems? Black and Hispanic men.
Right.
And now that they can't be in the households, well, how do you think their children are being raised? They seen the same thing Daddy did, and they're just gonna repeat the cycle. But that's something that Martin Luther King brought our community. Right. Give me Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 25. You can drop that. Right, read on.
His eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
It says what?
His eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
So it says that this man that was once loving, now he gonna have an evil heart towards his brother. That's black on black crime. That's black on Hispanic crime. You don't see that going on over in China. They loving each other. They ain't drop kicking each other and walking around with komodos and damn swords. That's us that's going on. Right, read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
You got baby mama drama in the Bible. It says that towards a wife of his bosom. What happens when you and your woman get into it? It get ugly, don't it? You know it do. You can laugh, brother. It's okay. Right? But when you look at the white communities, you don't have that problem. When you look at the Asian communities, you don't have that problem. The East Indians, the Arabians, they don't have none of that going on. She ain't throwing no shoes. She ain't pulling no knives. I remember one time I knew a Puerto Rican that kept a razor blade under her tongue, man. Right? They not doing that in other communities. Right. That's only in our community. Right. So it says that you're going to have baby mama drama in your community. What else? Read on.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Which he shall leave.
Say that he going to be known for leaving his children. Now, you had your father in your life. What about the majority of the Dominicans? Where are their fathers at? They not there.
Right.
But rereading all of this stuff from the Bible. Now, did you hear him say Puerto Rican or Dominican one time?
No.
Or what about African American?
No.
You didn't hear that? Right, give me, you got that? Right, hold that. Right, read Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 1.
Yo!
These are the words of the covenant.
The words of the covenant is talking about the promise that the Lord made his people. Remember when he said that if you don't listen to everything that I said that's going to do, all of these situations were going to befall you. Now, we saw all of those situations in the Dominican community and the black community and the Native Americans, but he never once said those terms. Right? Who was the Lord talking to? Read on.
Which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel. To make with the children of Israel.
With the children of Israel. That's your true nationality, brother.
Right.
You'll actually be an Israelite. Right, from the tribe of Simeon if you're a Dominican.
Right.
Or you can actually look at that from the sun. Right?
Yeah.
So-called Dominicans,
Yeah.
you'll be a Simeonite.
I appreciate it. They introduced it to me because I learned something different today.
What you learn, brother?
I just learning how we can be like it's the same. You know, no matter the color how you are,
Mhm.
so we gotta be together the same because you got flat tire, no matter what color you are,
Mhm.
you can get down here with the hey, maybe you don't have a jack,
Mhm.
you don't have the tooth to get the knife. And that's why we gotta pray, you know, we leave everything in his hands because he says, come by me, whatever you feel, tired, you know, hard work, whatever you feel, come by me and I got you. That's what he says. I don't know if it's in the Bible too.
Are you good?
This is my Bible.
All right. Now, I didn't teach you none of that, brother. So what I want you to know, I get you, but what we telling you, brother, your nationality is that of an Israelite. That's your true nationality. So when somebody asks you what's your nationality, that's like if somebody asked me my nationality and I said that I was a nigger. That's not my nationality. That was a nationality that was placed on me by somebody else. Being called a Dominican, a red dog, that's an insult. But we walk around and we call ourselves these titles proudly. So when somebody asks you your nationality, you have to tell them that you're an Israelite from the tribe of Simeon. That's what we tell you. That's the message, brother. You gotta repent and keep the commandment.
Thank you so much, bro.
Oh, you get,
I'm gonna wait till you to read that stuff.
You wanna hear that?
I gotta leave. Yeah,
all right,
hard.
23 and 25. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 25. Since you got 5 seconds, somebody catch the system with the nose ring. Right, read on. I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesied a lie in my name, saying, what did he say? I have dreamed. I have what? I have dreamed. Martin Luther King said? I have dreamed. You got Martin Luther King in the Bible. It says that I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesied lies in my name. You know what lies do to people? Lies destroy people. Saying, I have dreamed. And this is talking about Martin Luther King. Because he had a famous what? What was his most famous speech? His I have a dream speech. All right, so you got Martin Luther King in the Bible. That's how we know that this book is talking about us. Because Martin Luther King, he came to our communities. He didn't go to the white communities. He came to the Dominicans, the Hispanics, Latinos, the Native Americans. He said that he tried to take care of us, but sometimes there's a way that seems right into a man that ends in destruction. And that's exactly what happened. That makes sense, brother? I see you're an Israelite, brother. You gotta repent and keep the commandments. All right, I got you. Y'all should have tripped that sister next time. Give me Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment, even as the Lord Yahweh my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. For this is your wisdom. You didn't get? For this is your wisdom. Say that this is our wisdom. Come on, brother, with the gray hoodie.
Hey, brother,
Brother with the fake Nikes on.
come back.
Are you gonna chop it up with me, man?
Brother, I remember you.
Hey, sister with the braid.
Yeah, brother.
Come on, brother. See that? Clap it up, man. What's your name, big man?
You're not. What's your ethnicity? What's your race?
I'm African American.
See, African. You enslaved mentally. Who told you were African American?
How you get out the system then?
I came back to the truth, brother.
Right.
So knowing the truth gets you out.
Give me John 8:32.
Why is
Let's see it.
Why you here right
John chapter 8, verse 32.
Bring
it out. And ye shall know the truth.
What the Lord say?
And ye shall know the truth.
Read it again.
And ye shall know the truth.
What the Most High say?
And ye shall know the truth.
Read.
I only ask, what's your nationality, Charles? Black. All right, give me Songs of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 5. Now, if you wanted to, because I take like a Chinese man. What land are they from? East? Well, more so specifically, they from China. Like a Japanese person is from where? Japan. Right? Just how you got an Arabian, they're from where? Arabia. So people are called by their name, or the lands that they come from. Right. What land is black? There is no land called black. You know why that is? Because not only is that not only a land, but that's not a nationality. Like black is just a color. Like you got that? Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verse 5. Yeah. I am black. I am black. I am black. But come said I'm black and I'm beautiful. He was describing the way that he looked. Black and proud. Right? That's another way of saying it. Right? He was describing the way that he looked. Come on, family. But that wasn't Solomon's nationality. You know what Solomon's nationality was? Like, give me John chapter 1, start at verse 47. Our brother, what you gonna walk away with here today is who you truly are, man. Right. Are you ever seen a sister go through her red hair phase? You haven't? My brother young, that's why he don't know, man. Sister be trying to find herself, man. But we gonna show you today, brother, is who you really are. You got that? John chapter 1, verse 47. Jesus saw Nathanael coming to him and said of him, behold, an Israelite indeed. Behold, an Israelite indeed. What is this, brother? Behold, an Israelite indeed. Who are you, brother? See that? And you're an Israelite. We're going to show you, though. Give me Leviticus 26 and 17. The book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 17. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemy. Who the ones getting killed at a mass rate in Chicago? That's us, right? And what about a Japanese person? Are they getting killed how we getting killed? What about an East Indian? Are they getting killed how we getting killed? They not. But the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are getting slaughtered at a massive rate. Right, we doing? They that hate you shall reign over you. Who runs America? White people. Now, what have they done over the last 400 years? Have they loved us or have they hated us? They have hated us. It says, they that hate you shall reign over you. Right, read on. And ye shall flee when what? And ye shall flee. It says that ye shall flee when what? When none pursueth. You ever notice that when the cherry tops or when the police get the sirens get to going off, everybody get to taking off? They're not even after us. They're just trying to make it through a red light. But what do? We flee when no one pursues us. Right? Read on. And if you will not yet hearken, Salaki, and if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more. Then I will punish you 7 times more. He's saying that the conditions of our people are going to continue to get worse and worse because we won't repent and come back to the Bible. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3 and start at verse 16. Get out. You see yourself on there? Where you see yourself at?
I see all the black people in the world.
You see all the black people in the world. What about Africans? You see Africans on there? Ain't on there. You know why? Huh? You got Mexicans. Because black isn't a physical characteristic. Black is just a way of living. Black means to be destitute or in a lower state. Who's living in the worst state in America? The blacks, not only us, but who else? You got the Hispanics and Native Americans as well. You got that? Read that. The book of Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 16. Yeah. And it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increase in the land in those days, said the Lord. Verse 14, turn, O backsliding children. Turn, O backsliding children. He told us to turn. You know what backsliding means? Right? Backsliding means, like if I said something that was in front of you that was bad for you, you know what you're going to do? You're going to slide back. The way that our people look, we look at evil as good and we look at good as evil. So when the Lord set righteous judgments and laws in front of our face, you know what we did? We backslid. Right? It says, turn ye, O backsliding children. Right? Read on. Said the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city. And I will take you one of a city and 2 of a family. It says that I'm going to take you one of a city and 2 of a family. Now, all of this big Chicago, how many people are standing up here right now having a conversation with us? Just one. Right? It says, I will take you one of a city and 2 of a family. I mean, that this scripture, brother, is talking about you, man. Right. Give me Deuteronomy, the 10th chapter. Deuteronomy 10 and start at verse 12. So let me ask you, do you remember when we said your nationality was? Not black. It says, behold, a what indeed? Right? It's on here somewhere. You're an Israelite, brother. You're an Israelite if you're African American, more than likely from the tribe of Judah or Yahweh in the Hebrew. That was the same tribe that Christ went from. Right? Did you know that? You know Christ was a black man? See that? Give me Revelation 1:14. What you got? Yeah, give me Revelations first. Revelation, the first chapter, start at verse 14. You know why they convinced us that Christ was a so-called white man? Give me first Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. You said what? All right. If I convince you that the person that you're supposed to, you said why they lie about it? I got you. All right, give me first Maccabees 3 and 48 real quick. First Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48. And it reads, and laid open the book of the law. The book of the law is talking about the Bible. Right, read on. Wherein the heathen nations, read on, have sought to paint the likeness of their image. You know what happens if I paint the person that you look up to as somebody of another nationality? You're going to start looking up to them. So instead of you looking at a black man with authority, you're going to look like white people are the only authority that I need to obey. Because that white football coach that used to talk to you like garbage, and used to cuss you out, you respect him. But once a black man steps up with authority, what happens? You challenge it naturally. That's because they turned the image of Christ to be a so-called white man. Now when we got problems in our community, do we settle amongst ourselves? We don't. Who do we call? We call a white man. Right? 911. Call them up, and what do? They shoot up the whole damn neighborhood, man. Right? Read that. The book of Revelation, chapter 1, and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. The revelation of Jesus Christ. Revelation means to reveal. So this is the revealing of the image of Christ. Right? Drop down to verse 14. Verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool. It says his head and his hairs were white like wool. White being full of wisdom, but he had a woolly texture hair. Now, where white Jesus at, man? Or where the saltine cracker at? Y'all got the picture up here? Or what does Christ usually look like? A white man with blue eyes. He usually got golden retriever-like hair, right? But it says that he had woolly texture hair. Right? Christ don't look like that according to the Bible, man. Right. You know why we fell for that image? Because if you want to hide something from a black person, do what? Huh? Not just lie. Put it in a book. Because niggas don't like to read. Right? Read on. As white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet, his toes. Now you gotta remember, they was walking around in sandals, man. Right? It said that his feet were like what? Like unto fine brass. You know what color brass is? What color is brass? It's a goldish, brownish color, right? Now, what happens if you take that brass and you do what with it? Read on. As if they burned and they burned it. What happens if you put it in the furnace? You cook. What happens if you overcook your chicken? What color is it gonna be? Black. It's gonna be Bernie Mac black. It's gonna look like this, man. Like Christ was a very, very dark man. But they convince you that he looks like them. And that's exactly why we respect white people so much. You got that? Give me Hosea 4 and 6. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It says that our people are destroyed because we don't know any better. Give me Revelation chapter 1 and verse 3. And you know why we don't know no better? It says if you knew better, you do better. But the reason that we don't know better is what? Read on. Revelation chapter 1 verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth. Blessed is he that readeth. It says blessed is the man that reads, right? So what you think gonna happen to the man that don't read? He's gonna be cursed. Which is exactly the predicament that we're in now, man. Right? Our people are destroyed because we refuse to come back to the Bible and hearken unto it the way that the Lord told us to, man. Not the way that the church tells us to. Because you know what the church gonna read, thou shalt not eat pork. You know what they're gonna do? God knows my heart. God loves me. It's easy to be obedient until it comes to something that you don't want to do. We love that pork so much, so you know what we do? We eat it anyway. And we find an excuse as to why we should keep doing the evil that we should do, because it's hard to change. That's why he said, I'm going to take you one of a city and two of a family. Because think about how many of your people in your family, and when you tell them you did something wrong, they actually want to change and be a better person. Maybe two. You got that? Read that. 2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 50. Bring it out. 15.
2 Maccabees chapter 4 verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians. What? But liking the glory of the Grecians.
You know what the Grecians are? Grecians, like the Greek Empire, those are white people. It says that we didn't sit by the honors of our fathers. Our fathers not talking about back with MLK and what's the brother name? The Malcolm X, the Muslim nigga. It's not talking about them. It's talking about our forefathers back when we were kings and princesses. Talking about King David, King Solomon before he turned sour. Right, read on.
But liking the glory of the Grecians,
It says that we like the ways of the so-called white people. What? Read on.
best of all.
It says what?
Best of all.
So instead of celebrating Purim, we celebrate Christmas. You know what Purim is? Purim is our own high holy day when we give gifts to our people.
Right.
And then not only that, like the thing with white people, when they had their Christmas, they give to other people that got money. But on Purim, we give to the poor.
Right.
They don't do that, right? And we, you said what? What about Hebrews? Give me what is that, 2 Corinthians 11 and 22? You know what a Hebrew is? A Hebrew is a man or a descendant of a man named Eber. Right, so a Hebrew, it's like, a Hebrew is like being black. So when you look at these top three tribes right here, the American blacks are black, right? The West Indians are black, and the Haitians are black, but you have different tribes of black, right? So a Hebrew is just like the overall, what it would be like. You got Asian people that are Hebrews, you got white people that are Hebrews,
Right.
but it gets more specific. That's how we told you that you were an Israelite, right? You got that in 2 Corinthians? 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 22.
Bring it out.
Are they Hebrews? Are they Hebrews? So am I. Yeah, because we are Hebrews, right? We come from the descendant. We're a descendant of the man named Eber, right? Read on. Are they Israelites?
More specific, it says, are they who?
Are they Israelites? So am I, because we're Hebrew Israelites. But we don't just go by the term all Hebrew Israelites. That's just saying, oh, you're a black man. No, I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Right.
Right? You still got that? Right? Read on.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
It says because we chose the ways of everybody else, and we loved Christmas, and we love, what's the other holidays they got going on? Valentine's Day. You know what? Let's just talk about Valentine's Day for a second. What's the symbol of Valentine's Day? You said love, but what is that? Like, what shape is that? A heart, right? And they tell you that heart represents love. You know what that heart is? That heart is an ass. Where Valentine's Day really comes from is prostitution. And when you would walk through certain small towns, they would have the hearts up outside, because you know why? In there, they were showing so much love. And they were showing you love for a good $12.99, right? So no, that's what they teach us that Valentine's Day is. So now on Valentine's Day, you know what men do? They spend all the money that they've been saving up all year so they can try to get some ass from their girlfriend. That's why we need to separate from that. Right now, the brother said Valentine's Day. You also said Halloween. What type of people would celebrate devils? That shows you the madness behind Halloween. Right? It says because we wanted to choose Christmas, Halloween, and Valentine's Day, it said that what came upon us?
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
It says that sore calamity came upon us. Now we're broke. Now we can't get ahead. Now we ain't got fathers in the household. Now our sisters is whoring themselves out and our brothers is on drugs. Right? Because we wanted to choose the ways of everybody else over the ways of the Lord. Right? Read on.
For they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they follow so earnestly. Whose custom they follow so earnestly.
Because we're so passionate about Christmas. We go broke on Black Friday to celebrate Christmas. That's what it means by we followed it so earnestly. White people will never go broke trying to spend their money on everybody else.
Right.
But we love to do that though. Right? And that's why we can't get ahead, because we keep choosing the ways of everybody else versus choosing the ways that were actually given to us.
Right.
What work for Chinese people don't work for us, man. You can't eat a bat and just walk scot-free. You're going to get sick. But Chinese people can do that. You can't eat raw meat. You can't even eat damn pork. Right? Because if you get to eating pork, your blood pressure gonna be through the roof. But white people can eat pork without even cooking it. That's because we're a different people. Right? You got that? Start at verse 4.
Zechariah chapter 1 verse 4. Be ye not as your fathers. Be ye not as your fathers.
We gotta look at the men who failed And we got to choose to not be anything like them. Christ said something real heavy. He said, don't take old bottles, or don't take new wine and put it in old bottles. Back then, the bottle was made out of wood, so it would get worn out. You know what happened? If you put new wine into it, the bottle would break and the wine would spill out. What the Lord is telling us, that we have to start completely over with a new foundation, and we got to build from the ground up according to what he told us to do. Right? Read on. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophet had cried, saying, thus said the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways. It says, do what? Turn ye now from your evil ways. Matter of fact, give me Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 8. It says to turn ye now from your evil ways. Now, the things that we see as evil might not be the things that the Lord sees as evil. And it works the same exact opposite way. Like, you probably think that the death of Egyptian babies is evil, right? The Lord we celebrate that every single year.
Right.
That's a glorious thing according to the Lord.
That's right.
Showing the protection that he had for his people. Right? But you might not see something like shrimp. You like shrimp? You like pork? Bacon? All praise to the Most High. Clap it up for the brother, man. That's a law unto itself. Right? But you might see, like, going out on Saturdays. Going out, you might spend the most money you never spent on a Saturday. That's what we usually do, right? Do you know that that's actually evil according to the Lord? Right, read that. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. What? For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. Exodus chapter 35 and verse 2. So the things that we see as good and evil aren't parallel to what the Lord sees as good as evil. So what what we need to do, we need to stop having these opinions, and we need to just obey the orders that were given unto us. You got that in Exodus? Read that. The book of Exodus chapter 35 verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day, so it says you got 6 days of the week for work to be done. Right? And it says on the 7th day. Now, what's the 7th day of the week? Sunday, right? Read on. But on the 7th day, there shall be to you an holy day. Right? And that's the day that we usually go to church, right? On Sunday, right? Pull out your phone for me real quick. And go to your calendar. Right? Now, tell me on your phone what's actually the first day of the week according to that calendar you got in your phone now. Right? Which one is the furthest to the left? You got the calendar app on there, brother? Somebody pull up a calendar for the brother real quick. I think I might have one of them. Which day is all the way to the left?
Today.
My phone cracked. Let me get that on camera.
That's Sunday. Sunday.
That's Sunday. But didn't you just say that Sunday was the 7th day of the week?
Yeah.
Who told you that? Give me Jeremiah 23:1. You can hold that in Zechariah though. You said you was raised like that though. You know how most of our people were raised? Most of our people were raised in church.
Right.
They're the ones that told you that the Lord's holy day was on Saturday. And because they told you that, what's going to happen? Right, read on. And Sabbath the rest of the Lord. Whosoever doeth work therein shall what? Whosoever doeth work therein. Anybody that defiles the Lord's holy day, right? What's going to happen to them? Shall be put to death. Shall do what? Shall be put to death. It says that they're going to be put to death. What's the day that most of our people die on? It's on Friday. It's Friday and when? Fridays and Saturdays. They ain't have Rolexes back then. So they judged the time off of the sun.
Right.
So whenever the sun went down, that's when it'll be a new day. Y'all got time, family? So on Friday night, and from Friday night to Saturday night will be the 7th day of the week, or the Sabbath of the Most High God.
Right.
And the reason that you know why the churches moved it to Sunday? Because they got tired of competing for with the clubs. The clubs, too many people want to go out and have fun, and nobody want to go to church. They got tired of competing money-wise for Saturday, so they moved everything over to Sunday, right? But what's going to happen to the people for that, right? Read on. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1. Come talk to me, family. Come on, brother. Hold get the ball fade and get the acting funny now. See that? And he ain't even spinning. Ain't nothing in the back. Right, read on. And it reads, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. It says, woe be, you know what woe means? Woe means death and destruction. Unto the pastor that does what? That's scattered. It's like, woe be unto the pastor that's destroyed and scatter the sheep of my pasture. You know what? How you destroy someone? I told you earlier. With lies.